All right, the spoils of victory. I'm on lap 13 of my trip around and around and around the block. So what that means is I have run around the block 12 times. And 1.1 miles is 13.2 miles. So, if my calculations are correct, I just ran a half marathon today. A little over an hour and 43 minutes. Well, that also includes getting the MP3 player, getting a drink of Powerade now and then. And now I need to head to Honor 1 and look for that blue notebook. I'm pretty sure I locked the door. Look at that, brain damage. Ain't so bad. Oh, feels good to sit. I really need to do some spring cleaning inside Honor 1. Grandma's still at the dentist. I figured she'd be home by now, considering what time is it. It is after 2 o'clock now. Good way to spend a beautiful afternoon. Running around and around and around. Now that I've done my half marathon, I think I'm entitled to a victory lap, to say the least, a cool down lap. I don't know if I'll tape the entire lap. Before I do that, I'm gonna get another drink. Red is the color of strength, and I need some strength right now. I drink my blue Gatorade. And blue is the color of dexterity and physical beauty and grace. And Coach was a heck of an athlete. I know in his story that he just wrote on the internet for the newspaper, or rather, he talks about getting old and how he's had his knees replaced and he's getting his Medicare card in the mail. And that's just kind of a heartbreak, because you never want your heroes and your legends to get old. But Coach has plenty of deeds adorned on his soul, I'm sure. And hopefully I'll even get to hear some of those firsthand. I've been writing my 1,000 words each day this Lenten season. Now, I don't have Coach's address. I don't even have his email address. I tried to call the Oshkosh Northwestern to see if I could get his email address so I could send him my 1,000 words of the day. Coach was my composition teacher in high school, and I never will forget how proud I felt when he read my short story aloud about a Roman gladiator to the class. There's a story I wrote about a young gladiator that basically just was in love with the idea of fame. You know, standing in front of a crowd with nothing in his hand but a sword, facing death, and just having everybody love him for that. So that gladiator fought a lion, and I think, sad but true, I don't remember the ending of my own story. I think the young gladiator did die at the hands of the lion, but it was a good death. It was a good death. And I think that if I tried to make this into a full marathon today, you know, I'm tempted. You know, I'm tempted to walk this lap. You know, put the notebook down, put the camera down, and see if I can do it again. I mean, if I ran 13 miles once, 13 point some odd miles once, couldn't I do it again, back to back? If I did, that'd be pretty impressive, considering most people need to have to train for a marathon. I haven't run since the last time I put an entry in this book. Every time I went running, I kept a journal, for a coach, here's some numbers, my triglycerides and whatnot. And I wrote down my times for running my 3-mile stints, or 3.4 mile stints, I should say. Here's a 24:33. My first 3 miles, my first 3 laps around the circuit here took 27 minutes and 2 seconds. I wasn't giving it my all because I knew I had a lot of running left to do. So I definitely wanted to do a half marathon at the least. I think the reason I wanted to do that is because my little sister, who's off to college, paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for her education, took a course on how to train for a half marathon. Well, I just did the how to train for a half marathon for dummies. That is, you go outside and then you run 13.3 miles. That's the end of the course. I just graduated. I mean, I don't think I would have got an A because my time is pretty sucky. But, you know, C's get degrees, that's what they say. So I think I would have got a C at least on my half marathon. Was it 1 hour and 43 minutes for a half marathon? Yeah, considering people can do almost a full marathon in that time, that's pretty pathetic. But I'm getting old, just like Coach. Now, as I'm coming up to this corner, what's my time? Oh, I got plenty of time. I wanted to make sure I got to this corner so I could tell that story that I was kind of blabbering about as I was running my first mile. My friend, SSG Man, and my ex-friend, who soup canned me, Crazy Weasel, both had the fortune and privilege of being athletes underneath Coach. Like, I was a pretty decent runner when I was a young man. The first mile I ever ran was 6 point flat. And that's pretty good considering the first time you ever run a mile, you run it in 6 minutes. So I had the potential, but I was a coward, and you know, I was afraid of success as much as I was of failure, so I didn't go out for track or cross country, even though I should have. But anyway, SSG Man and his brother did go out for track and cross country and had great success, and I'm sure that was in part to the fact that they had Coach as their coach. Now, there's this one story where the boys were out running their practice miles, and they were taking shortcuts by cutting across people's lawns. Now, right up here around the corner, I'm going to pick up my pace a little bit because I'm slowing down. Up here around this corner is a very, very, very good opportunity for me when I do my laps to cut the corner, so to speak. Instead of going around the sidewalk, which kind of goes to the right, it's very, very tempting to take a left and cut over through the grass. And you probably save yourself maybe 2 or 3 seconds a lap, and you don't kind of lose momentum by having to go to the right. Kind of like NASCAR, I'm all about the left turns when I do my running here around this block over and over and over again. So every time I come up towards this corner, which I'm approaching right now, I think of Coach. And I think that's the reason I started this notebook. You know, will he ever have this notebook someday in his hands? Probably not, but kind of like how I said Coach has many deeds adorned on his soul. Writing this notebook is one of those deeds that's adorned on my soul. And without temptation, there is no virtue. So we're coming up to temptation corner here. And I'll admit, sometimes I do cut this corner just to laugh and smile, because when Coach found out from a little old lady who called him up at the high school saying that those naughty cross-country and track people were cutting across her lawn, ooh, Coach gave them the wrath. I mean, when you cheat, the only person you're really cheating is yourself. I've found that out many times. Like, people love to win. This society just loves the winner. And if you got to cheat to win, you know, the only person that you're really cheating is yourself. And that's a pity. So here's the corner. Now there's a big snowbank here now. But see how it's a pain in the butt to kind of go this way and then around the corner versus, you know, if you just go this way, you know, and here it is, you know, there's no turning back, see? I'm leaving my footprints in the snow that show I am a cheater. But if you look, there are no footprints. Those are the first set. So I did not cheat on my 13 or my 12 laps around this block. And yeah, proud of that. Ran a half marathon today, just because. And hopefully I can write 1,000 words for Coach and get those words to him. Maybe he would be honored, because even though Coach didn't teach me how to run, he taught me a lot of things. And I don't think the world will remember me as a runner like Forrest Gump, but they might remember me as a writer. And I want to thank Coach for that most of all.